Welcome back to the podcast and Happy New Year to all of you. I'm sure everyone's excited to start the new year. This is our first guest episode on the new set, first episode of the new year. And in order to help you to thrive, to start the new year right, I've invited a perfect guest to come on the show to talk about passion, purpose, and power. Alright, to thrive in the upcoming year and the years ahead. He's none other than Darryl Ng.
Thank you so much for having me.
A full-time coach, a very purposeful, extremely powerful communicator, an abundant human being, full of love, and of course, the first person to really inspire me to put out content. So man, I'm telling you, I'm just so grateful to be able to invite Darryl to be on the show. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling extremely excited. Right, just a couple of weeks ago, I invited him for my podcast.
Oh yes.
And yes, I'm here today. I'm extremely excited to share with you guys.
Yep. So before I tell the audience right how we met, maybe just give a brief introduction of yourself.
Right. Hi guys, I'm Darryl. Right. So what I do mainly is to help millennial sales professionals and entrepreneurs to ignite their personal power so that they can have breakthroughs in business, personal life, and relationships.
Right. Why do you use the word ignite?
So I really believe that you have this potential lying inside you.
Okay.
So I think the word, I was contemplating between ignite or unleash, right? So I kind of resonate with ignite more.
Sure. What's fascinating about this, if you look at my bio, right, recently I've looked at my vision, is to ignite the human spirit to love and to overcome.
Love it.
That is why we clicked so well when we first met, right? So it's amazing because ignite is something that both of us relate to a lot. I chose the word because you want that spirit in the person to be ignited that, hey, for you it's breakthroughs, right? For me it's to overcome. I think there are overlaps.
Yep.
And that's why we're actually here. And I must say something about Darryl, right? It's really, when I first met you, okay, no, really being perfectly honest, right? First time I saw you was, I think, on Ray's a mutual friend of ours, Ray's post.
Okay.
I think she posted about you,
Yeah.
meeting you and everything. So I went to look at your profile thinking, I was a bit skeptical.
Okay.
Because you're talking about, at that point, talking about helping people to find purpose, calibrate your GPS, right? I was thinking, does this guy have the chops to help people?
Yeah.
So I invited Darryl out, to have a meal. I think he saw my video as well.
I remember at Tampines.
Yes. Okay, I want to share the pictures, me, Haris, and you.
Yeah.
Okay. And man, I tell you, the first time I met you, my perception just really, I cannot describe it. How
Really?
abundant you were.
Okay.
The first time you met me, you immediately talked about I think it was back then, I was doing Ironman. So you were complimenting me on that. And just generally throughout our meeting, just very abundant. Right? It's very rare to find someone that's so abundant, so giving. Your essence is just that of someone that wants to give.
Really, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I don't remember how I was, right?
Sure.
So how I were, but honestly, that was a memorable meeting as well. I remember, I think you're the first dude that I met, right? That completed Ironman.
Okay.
And you really inspired me. And 2021, one of my goals is to run a marathon, a full one, 42 kick. Yeah.
Okay, wow. That's 2021.
Yeah.
Oh, this is,
this so next year.
Yeah, I said 2020 just now. Okay, never mind. I think I might have, but okay, thanks so much. It's a half Ironman, not necessarily a full one. It's a story for another time. But I think from then on, right, I think when we first met, you were at, of course, followers is not the only metrics, but it's one way of actually looking at how much influence and how much reach the person has. I think back then you were just at 600 followers. And about a year has passed since then. Now you're like 1.8, 1.9,
about
1.9. And more importantly, right, I've seen your growth. It is just so amazing, the kind of passion and the way you... I mean, just now we're having a chat over lunch.
Yeah.
I was just mesmerized by you. I just listening to Darryl, man. So proud.
Thank you so much.
So before we start talking about like Ida said, this is not two friends talking podcast, right? We're gonna have to talk about
sure. Let's go.
Give value to the guests. So the outline of the podcast today, I think, new year, new me, right? Everyone's saying that okay, it's time to set goals, whatever. But I think before that, it's important to have some sort of purpose, right? Some sort of direction. And the issue is that a lot of us don't think about purpose, or rather, one super common question I get from you for even millennials or even adults sometimes, right? is why am I doing this?
Yep.
Right? Like, what is my purpose for doing this? And many people just rationalize it as, okay, I don't need it. I just need to be practical. So again, I said I invited the best person to talk about this purpose and power. Okay, power is something that's new. I would say you think of it, what does power actually mean? Sounds a bit scamish, right? but trust me, there is going to be a lot of value to be taken away. So yeah, we are going to talk about passion, purpose, and eventually on power.
Sure.
So before we go into that, right, I just want to get, like you said, get the audience to know who the hell is DKNY.
Yeah, DNYK. Yes.
DKNY is
The brand, yes.
Is the shirt brand. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the outfit brand. Okay. So DNYK.
Yep.
Share a bit more about your past and how do you come to like where you were right now.
Right, awesome. I just want to share that DNYK, okay, is my name, the initial, Darryl Ng. So I created this Instagram page with nothing but just one intention of documenting my journey, and that kind of kickstarted because the truth was at the age of 20 years old probably, my dad's business kind of had a downfall, and he actually kind of questioned me from the bottom of his heart. He was really pissed off at me, and he said this, other than playing games, chasing girls, and going clubbing, son, what the hell are you good at? And obviously it was not this kind of tone. And I couldn't answer him. At that point of time, I was still playing Dota. So, that was bad. That was really bad. All the time he just closed one eye, but that night he just confronted me on it. So, I just jumped on my bed and I burst out crying. And that's that. And when I ORD'd, if I'm not wrong, at the age of 22, that's where I really took life more seriously.
Okay.
I asked myself, knowing that I can chase girls, what are some skill sets I can get from that?
Sure. How does that work though? I'm curious.
So
you go up, you just say hi.
Yeah,
I like your face.
When 15 years old.
Give me your number.
Yeah, since I was since 15, I was from boys' school, you get it.
Sure.
So doing forfeits, forfeits, we always play like, hey, get a girl number and all these things.
Okay.
So since 15, I was really honing that skill in that sense.
Okay.
So I was just thinking to myself, what if I can use this skill more applicably or practically, right? So that was, I took up a sales internship. And in my heart, I didn't realize that back then, but now that I look back, yes, it makes sense. I was trying to prove a point to my dad that I'm worthy, that I'm good at something.
Right.
Because the question was, what the hell are you good at?
Yeah.
And it's all these kind of emotional baggages in that sense drive me.
Right.
I did well in that career. I got a full-time job with them. And at the age of 22, I was earning 3 plus K. 23, I earned 4-5K. Best month, I made 7,000. And I didn't even have a degree. And I was doing software sales, right? And I asked myself, am I really happy? Oh, then that's where the whole rabbit hole comes in. What's happiness? What's purpose? What's passion? Because I just follow what my mom said, right? My dad said, go and be useful. Go and make some money.
Sure.
So my metric back then, when you're studying, the audience will resonate with this. When you're studying, the metric, whether you're good or not, is just grades. When you enter a working world, the metric to show that you're good is what? Money. So there's only these two metrics that I'm familiar with. Right. Yeah, so that kind of got me started. And shortly after, I realized that I was not being happy. I read a lot of books on happiness. And that's where I discovered that, these are super good stuff. Like happiness, there's two types, right? Short-term pleasure, long-term purpose. Do you have both? I didn't realize all these things. So when I had this awareness, I just decided to share my audience on Instagram. Like what you mentioned, a couple hundreds.
Yeah.
It was just pure passion. Very happy doing it. And shortly after, at the start of this year, I decided to embark coaching full-time. Yeah, so that's my short summary.
Really condensed. It's really condensed. I think Darryl went through a lot more, but just picking out, right, the main point is that there was a void, like you said, to prove something. Because like you said, you didn't feel that maybe your dad, there was a void that your dad said that you're useless, and you also had relationship problems with him as well, right? That's one of the things that kind of drive you to prove a point. And when I met you, you were... Okay, so to give some context, Praxium is the company that you're working for.
Yes, you're right.
And then they do... Basically, they go to schools to run passion. Basically help students to actually find their passion.
Right.
And back when I met you, you were still doing a lot of content on, helping people to get self-awareness.
Yes.
Calibrate your inner GPS, right? Can you talk a bit more about that? So you started with that.
Yes, correct. So right now, I run Calibrate Academy. Okay. So it's, in a sense, a new version of what I do, right? So Calibrate Your Inner GPS was the first business I created. Mainly to help you to understand yourself, calibrate yourself internally, so that you know that this is my life mission.
Sure.
Is this job opportunity aligned to it? If it's not, it's no-brainer to reject it. Even if they offer $10,000 a month, you say, no, it doesn't make sense.
Sure.
Because you know where you're heading towards.
Right.
That was my sole purpose initially.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But now I pivoted to serve more millennials or entrepreneurs.
I think Darryl, evolved along the way. That's a huge part of everyone's journey. We evolve and we kind of understand a bit better. But you started out with self-awareness, right? Because like you said, back then when you were young, you wanted to be someone you needed.
Yes.
when you were younger.
Correct.
And you wanted to help someone that could be in your position lost, no awareness of self, whatever, and helping them to find a little bit of their passion, a little bit of their
You're
purpose.
right. Yep.
So that served quite a big audience, like you said. And I think, to quote Darryl, right, I think from self-awareness, you transition into self-identity.
Yep.
Because self-awareness is just, okay, I'm self-aware, but what is my identity, right? What is something that helps me to kind of unleash or ignite my personal power?
Hell yes. Yep.
So I'm just giving the audience a hope, because you want to stay tuned for that, right? But I do want to go in chronological order.
Sure.
And I do want to explore a bit of passion and purpose first. So now that the audience know more about you, right? Okay, before we talk about passion, last question. Were you always this abundant? I know this is not the focus of the podcast, but you are very abundant, very loving. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play a recording that you sent me. I know maybe the audience will cringe.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care.
Cool.
You probably don't care.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to play. You pass me my phone, Ida.
I show them that.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna record it. I think recently you sent me just like a gratitude message, right?
Yep.
And you said that, okay, Kevin, I'm grateful for you. So I'm just gonna play it. Very rare that people will express their love so vulnerably. So I'm just gonna play it out because okay, I think the mic should be able to hear it.
Sup, brother? I just ended my Tony Robbins Date with Destiny, and I just feel so much gratitude inside my heart. And I thought of you. Thank you for being open-minded, for getting coaching by me, in the earlier months, right? 6 months ago. I thank you for that. I acknowledge you for that. Without your support and belief in me, I would not get to where I am today. I genuinely want to show you tons and tons of gratitude as well. I appreciate your soul. I appreciate the work that you do for the community. I just want to say that you are amazing. If life is treating you amazing right now, I'm genuinely happy for you, brother. If it's not, let me know how I can help you in any way possible. I just want to send you nothing but pure love. Meanwhile, I just want to credit you. I just want to say I love you, thank you. I acknowledge your presence in my life. Here's to many, many more years ahead for our friendship. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, pretty man. I was emotional.
Wow, that gave me goosebumps as well. Not gonna lie, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Also, that it's been tough. Setting this up and managing multiple businesses. It's not been easy, and so like having certain support come my way at certain points, it just means a lot, right? So coming back to the question, right? Yeah, tell me how you do this.
I think I need the audience to understand my background, my context, right? So, I had this I would say background, not worrying about money. But one day, my dad just came back and said, hey, money's an issue now. Right? We had to downgrade from a condominium with 3 cars to a rental HDB. So naturally, I should be operating from a scarcity mindset. But what helped me a lot was working at customer service, was working as a waiter.
Yeah.
I was constantly thinking, how can I value add this audience? Like okay, for them, it's customers, right?
Right.
So I remember this fateful incident. It was just a random lady dining. I constantly check if she has enough water. I just refill for her.
Yeah.
And when she was done with the meal, I simply asked, would you want to end off with this dessert?
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, let's just do it. And at the end of the meal, she actually gave me a $10 tip.
Sure.
And that's more than my 1 hour pay.
Right.
And that was like a pat on my back. I'm like, if you genuinely care for them, you get good stuff.
Yeah.
Not now, maybe next time.
Yeah.
And that's how it stuck with me for the rest of my life, I guess. And I've been doing that non-stop. If it's not today, I'll receive the good stuff 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
And that's that.
That's great. I think there's a minor lesson that I guess audience can, not the focus of this podcast, but definitely you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Maybe not now, but it can be in the future. And you always reap more than you sow. And I'm glad that life has been abundant to you in return for all the value that you have given out. And I think right now we also definitely want to give you some value through this podcast. So let's get straight into the topic. Let's talk about passion and purpose first. So talk to me about passion, right? What's passion?
Right.
What is passion?
So I think there's so many definitions for passion. So just in my humble opinion and my experience, passion is something that first you are curious about.
Okay.
Right? Second, are you interested in it after experiencing it? And thirdly, does it make you happy?
Okay.
Right? So if I were to break this down, like for me, back then when I was I would call myself useless in a sense. I was just gambling, I was playing games, chasing girls, right? Those activities, I was kind of curious about it. I want to understand how these different gambling games work.
Yeah.
And the second thing is when I was playing it, I was like quite interested. I play more. And the third thing, it really makes me happy. So I was just in my own bubble. So I don't believe you don't have something that you're passionate in.
Sure.
For the audience watching this. If you're curious about tennis,
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah.
So if you tried it and you say, nah, I'm not interested in it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You're not passionate in tennis. There must be something that you're passionate in.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. So it's just about trying out multiple things, seeing what you're curious about, and what kind of ignites or rather makes you feel
Yeah.
that sense of enjoyment, right?
Yep.
Purpose. What is purpose, right? And how is it different from, say, passion?
Right. I think passion is a lot about yourself.
Okay.
Purpose is something beyond, greater than you. So, like for example, let's just use these things that I share with my clients. Right.
Yeah.
Number one, your purpose is for yourself, me. Second is family. Third is community. Or
Right.
fourth, humanity.
Okay.
So is your purpose currently, for example, you study, right, to get a good grades for myself. But that's a purpose. Or get good grades so that my parents will be proud of me. Or that's for family. I got good grades so that I can inspire all the O-level students to do the same. That's for community.
Right.
For example, humanity will be I study so damn bloody well,
Yeah.
so I can change the entire education system maybe.
Right.
Right? Something bigger than that.
And that's what drives people, right? Because it's
Yeah.
always not just about them, but something else. I love that answer because a lot of people actually seem to know this rough understanding. When in my programs, I ask them the difference, I ask them to share on Mentimeter, right? They give me very interesting answers. I want to read out some of these answers,
Yeah,
right?
go ahead.
Very interesting. Is it, for example, one person say passion is your enjoyment, purpose is your reason. Passion is what you enjoy, purpose is what gives you meaning. Passion is what you enjoy doing, purpose is what your spirit and soul enjoys doing. And I love this, so many answers that people give me, right? But I think the idea is that purpose always has an element of other-orientedness.
Right.
It's not just about self, but it's also about, like you said, something or someone bigger than yourself. And interestingly enough, right, I think we did a program once. You helped me out with a Eunoia Junior College.
Yep.
Remember when you're still exploring? We talked about this study, and I want to share with the audience a little bit more just to add value to them, right? It was a study by Benjamin Bloom. So he's responsible for this thing called Bloom's Taxonomy of Learning. But he did in 1985 a study of 100 people that were extremely purposeful and high achievers, like mathematicians, tennis players, physics, whatever, across different fields.
Yep.
He realized that passion and purpose go through 3 different stages. First stage, the early stage, people discovering their passion,
Yep.
they get curious about it. Very important at this stage, parents don't enforce on them. They don't like say, okay, you must do this. Parents are generally open and say you can try.
Yep.
Second stage, right, middle stage is when they start to realize that, oh wow, I like tennis, I like coaching, whatever, I like speaking. Becomes partially part of their identity. Like you say, I'm a tennis player. I'm whatever, I'm someone that likes to do robotics or math.
Yep.
And then the final stage, right, and the last stage is actually the later stage, where purpose actually comes in. And purpose actually catalyzes that passion, right, and sustains that passion. Where it's no longer just about, for example, if you make music, it's no longer about just for your enjoyment, it's to maybe empower someone else. Your music has a certain meaning for someone else. So I think whatever you just shared, right, it really corresponds with the research in this area. That if people want to find their passion and purpose, it's just about trying out different stuff and eventually thinking about what problems you want to solve. And along the way, something bigger than yourself will come along the way.
Yep.
Yeah, so but I do want to ask you also, how do you think people can maybe consciously think about their purpose, aside from just letting it come to them or just thinking about it?
So I just want to backtrack this to something that I coach right back then in the beginning as well. So one thing that I often share with my clients or my students, right, is that your purpose lies in your past.
Okay.
Right, I just give you a simple example. When a client of mine, he's only 13 years old actually, one of my collaboration at tuition center.
Yeah.
I was blown away because I was afraid that at 13 you cannot use my frameworks. And he tried it and he was like, oh, my parents are divorced. He's 13. And he mentioned that his passion is golf. I said, why? So he said, I enjoy playing golf because that's the time where I bond my dad.
Right.
And I asked him, so what is something that hurt you or made you sad when you're younger? He said, I got bullied. Oh, so I just randomly co-create a purpose with him. I said, what if in the next 6 years, for example, you train golf or you teach golf to people who got bullied?
Right.
Would that make sense to you?
Right.
He lit up. He was like, wow, that is exciting.
Right.
I said, if that requires you to study well, would you study well?
Right.
Hell yes.
Yes.
And he's only 13. Yeah.
Okay, amazing because you help him to transition and break through and think from a different paradigm, right? It's no longer about him, but about the people that he wants to serve and also prevent or help through similar issues because he understands that pain. He understands how lonely he is.
Exactly.
Right? and he wants to help someone in a similar situation. Again, it reminds me of this phrase that your past voice actually drives your present values. Yeah, so
That's powerful.
Yeah, so whatever you perceive to be missing, you will really have that power to go and chase it and live it out, right? I just probably some tip for the audience, right? You can really think about what are some past pains that you have experienced or even witnessed for yourself that you want to prevent or want to help others to go through. And then think about what problems you want to solve. I think that will help you make the transition also and think more consciously about purpose. But I also want to let them know that it's not something that will come immediately. So don't force it on yourself. It's a journey. It's like even now, yes, we are quite purposeful, right? But it's still a journey. It's still a journey. Like you don't need to force it and say, oh, this guy has purpose, I don't have purpose, then I feel very anxious. No, just understand the principle and just take action. Move towards it.
I just want to add on that. Like, so people will always say, I cannot find my purpose.
Yeah.
But I kind of call bullshit on that because you have, I'm assuming all the audience about 20 years old. Let's just say 20 years old. You have definitely experienced so much in your life that make you happy, sad, angry, bad, or whatever bullshit. So it's just whether do you set time to really go deep within yourself. It could be as simple as when I was 13, my teachers call me stupid. My teachers insulted me, say that my grades were lousy. That could be a big moment for you. I want to maybe empower people to don't mislabel themselves. That could be purpose, right?
Amazing. Okay, I think we have spoken enough on passion and purpose. I think people are familiar with it. Just go out there, be curious, explore, and along the way, your passion might evolve to become a purpose. But let's talk about power now, because that seems to be where you headed towards. Very interesting. Okay, let's talk about it. So passion, purpose, and now power. So what is power?
I think power comes from within.
Okay.
So if you ask me a definition for power, I would say that it could be courage, it could be conviction. It varies from different situations, right? So, but I think a more interesting question is, what is power for? I think power is for breakthroughs, to me, in my own definition. Because why? If you want to, like what we say, raise up your that purpose level, from me to family to community to humanity, what do you need? To me, my answer is power. So that's why when I was serving passion and purpose to the audience, I was asking myself, am I really growing? I'm not. Why? Because I was living in self-doubt. I was living in fear. What I truly needed for myself was power.
Okay.
And I was like, shit, man. And I really love the audience that I'm serving with regards to this topic, power. I'm like, it fits perfectly. So that's why I pivoted the entire business to just serve this one powerful word, power.
Okay. Yeah, I think that also when I first saw that video that you made, right, where you got the realization, you paid 30K for the mentorship, right? It's a huge amount. People listening to this might be, what in the world? It's a scam. Like you pay 30K, not even 3K. 30K for a 1 year mentorship, right? But you can safely say that was one of the best decisions that you made.
Hell yes. and I would be honest with you, I don't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
That moment requires power. Probably I would say that was my first leap of faith into power. Right? So that's why when in that sense, I said, step into my personal power, life was amazing for me because I don't get held back by all the inner voice that's happening and echoing at the back of my head. I don't say things like, Darryl, you sure you can do it? Instead, I said, screw it, let's do it. Yeah.
And you also talk about breakthroughs because I think you also looking at, I think your mentor also probably tell you to look at your past clients, right? Get feedback from them, what they like about you, what is it that really spoke to them or really struck out. And the feedback you got, a lot of the word was keep coming out is breakthroughs. Breakthroughs. Do you help me to have a breakthrough? Help me to realize something about my parents, something about myself. And that liberated them. Some of them even cried. Some of them, went to reconcile with their parents.
Yes.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't expect that I have such impact on my clients. I kid you not, really. Yeah.
So that's the thing. And then when you share that, okay, wow, it's about breakthroughs, right? So now it is really aligned because you are helping people to get breakthroughs in their life. So again, these people listening to this, right, I'm quite sure everyone goes through some sort of shit or they have some sort of failure, challenge, baggage that they have, right?
Yes.
And maybe in this new year, they want to actually take a step to overcoming their baggage or letting go of that, right? How do people discover their personal power?
Okay, so there's this thing that I usually share with my audience. So it's this Ignite method. So 3 things that you really need to ignite. Number 1, ignite your why. Okay. So secondly is ignite your values. Lastly, ignite your beliefs. So I always like to equate your why to your fuel.
Okay.
Without fuel, the car won't move. Even if you are Suzuki, even if you're Ferrari, you don't move at all.
Yeah.
Right? So must find your why that is so powerful that can bring you to the level of humanity.
Yeah.
If possible, community is good enough. That will fire you.
That's purpose, right?
Right? That's purpose. Very aligned purpose. And the second thing that I always talk about, your values. Because would you, the audience listening to this, work with someone with abundant mindset or scarcity mindset? And your values set you apart from other people, even if you're an employee, even though you are an employer, regardless. Right? So what kind of values do you have that you want it to be ignited in you? And the third thing is your beliefs. I equate that to a steering wheel in the car. Without a steering wheel, will you dare to drive the car? No, not at all. Even if you have the best the best petrol, the best car, without a steering wheel, your car won't move. And that's what happened to me for the longest time. I was strong. I paid a lot of money and invested myself. But why my business ain't growing? Why I'm not moving? My belief systems are wrong. Yeah.
And that belief drives everything, right?
Hell yes.
Belief drives everything. So it's about rewiring those beliefs. I love it how you break it down. It's a good starting point for anyone listening to this, right? Let's deep dive a little bit into beliefs. What are some self-limiting beliefs you have observed in people that holds them back from, igniting their power?
Oh, I think the number 1 thing is not my fault. Or they victimize themselves. Right? So it's like, why this happened to me? Or some more common one is, if this happened, I will get this. So when I like to, or probably the most common one is mislabeling. For example, they just call themselves, I am not empathetic. I am not emotional. Right? I'm not strategic. Even I myself made such mistakes. Right? Mislabeling.
Wow. I resonate with that a lot. People don't realize that every trait they have, every trait that they see is present in themselves. And we judge people, right, because that is the trait we despise in ourselves the most.
Yes, I agree.
And we put people on a pedestal, right, but actually you have that trait in you also.
Just very little, maybe.
Which you can improve. Right? Okay, so understanding that also for me, right, actually for my 20s, one of the biggest lessons that I learned personally, right, is to realize that my judgments were a lot of it based on things that I wasn't judging myself.
What do you mean by that?
It's really about things that, for example, right, let's say one thing that really irritated me was pretentiousness. When you say certain things, or maybe people look at you, right, they will look at your page and say, you're a scammer. That, right? It's very easy to say that, it's very easy to label and be pretentious, right? I really hated that because I came from a culture where I guess maybe because people were being told that they're elite or being told that always receiving praise, I guess they have a tendency of looking down on people. So because of that, I think I was labelled when I first started out in business and everything, and I was very frustrated. But I think I realised that the reason why I was so upset is because I was doing that a lot.
Right.
Growing up, unconsciously I was doing that a lot. That's why when I had depression and I messed up my A-levels, I couldn't take it. My whole identity crumbled because the self-stigma and the self-judgment on myself was tremendous.
What were you judging yourself for? What were you labeling yourself?
Labeling that I'm a failure.
Basically
that I will be useless in life. I will never live out my potential because I didn't get straight A's.
That's it. That's the limiting belief. I cannot get A's.
Not that I cannot get A's. I didn't get A's.
You didn't get A's. Okay, so you put A's as the pedestal and you chase for that. Right. I believe a lot of the audience watching this right now, you might have been chasing something for the longest time and you miss it. So I just want to talk about this a little bit more. Just yesterday, I was just having a conversation with a friend. He said that his goal at the age of, when he was 15 years old, by the age of 25, I must make $1 million. And now he's 25. He didn't have that shit. He looked at himself like this as a disappointment. And just now, we talk about self-identity. And I think this is very powerful because if you look at yourself like you're a disappointment, you're a failure, how the hell are you going to move forward from here? So the very first thing I asked him to do, what if you can readjust your goals? Goals are dead, you are alive. Why are you making yourself like, you lock yourself up like you're the prisoner, no? So that's really interesting already. So first thing, readjust your goals. So instead of hitting $1 million, what if the real thing you want after the $1 million, right, is to retire your mom? Could it be achieved by a monthly income instead of a fixed amount? That shifted his perspective.
And that's why I say you're someone that helps people with breakthroughs and you develop that craft to the point where you read people, you understand people, you feel them, and you just connect and
Hell
be
yes.
able to ignite them.
And there's a funny story about it. When I was 12,
Yeah.
I loved watching Hong Kong drama back then.
Okay.
And I don't study. I literally, my head would just rotate. My mother called me the, what do you call it, fan head. Say, helicopter head. I'll rotate and watch whatever drama that's playing.
Yeah.
And I realized a pattern, because this is something that I teach in my class as well, pattern recognizing. Okay. The pattern here is I like stories. I love understanding characters. And guess what? I created a business out of it.
Interesting.
So for the audience watching this right now, just notice yourself. Are you reading detective books?
Yeah.
Are there certain patterns about yourself?
Yeah.
Right? Is it because you have a curious mind?
Yeah.
You like playing puzzle maybe? That's how you can expand your passion as well.
Exactly.
All right.
Previous podcast, I shared my story. I talked about how certain emotions leave clues.
Yes.
Certain stories, whatever that brings tears to your eyes, you gotta notice it, because that's an indication, a feedback. Your soul is giving you feedback that, hey, this is something you care about.
Powerful stuff.
When I was young, right, I mean, just to reshare the story, if you haven't watched the previous podcast, but you can, of course, listen to the previous one. But when I was young, my mom told me a story. The first few stories that I teared was Ugly Duckling. Okay? I'm sure you relate to this as well. Ugly Duckling, right, he was ostracized as a duck. So, you know, in his family, right, his family said he was ugly. There's no value. You were useless. So he left home.
Yeah.
And to me, I couldn't take it, because family is sacred.
Yeah.
My mom gave me so much love, and for their family to abandon the duck, right? I didn't see the duck just as a fictional character. I saw it as someone that I feel for. And I cried for it. I really felt very sad for the duck.
Yeah.
I felt a deep empathy for it. So interestingly, after the duck eventually wandered different places, right? And different places all rejected him. All rejected him, said that, oh, you're ugly, you're no good, everything. This is like a metaphor for life, right?
Yep.
Sometimes people don't appreciate your value. He went. Eventually, he found a community of swans that appreciate his value.
Wow.
Once he found the community, he became a swan, he flew.
That's a beautiful story.
And when he became a swan, I cried again.
Yeah.
I cried again because and then I realized, right, throughout my entire life, there are two things that really gets me emotional. Number one is when I'm standing up for people who have no voice.
Yep.
Like you helping people to find their voice. Number two, when someone overcomes, whether it's fictional, non-fictional, when someone overcomes, right, against the odds, they understand and appreciate their personal power, then I get
I need a high five to that. That's damn good. That's
get
damn
fired
good.
up.
Yeah, I love that. Right. I really see a lot of power in whatever you're doing. Really. That's why I gave you the heartfelt message, brother. And just you guys saw how we express it. So with so much passion and enthusiasm, mad respect, brother.
Yeah. Right back at you, really, because I learned a lot from you. Like I said, it was really about putting myself out there, knowing that there will be people that appreciate my value, not comparing, because even for you, sometimes they want to put their stuff out. They want to, move towards their power and move towards like documenting their journey, whatever they want to do, but they're always held back by so many things.
Yes. Yeah. And that's exactly what I experienced as well. And I realized that you don't need passion, or you don't need purpose. Yeah. What's the most important part is you need power. Because even before you want to chase after the purpose or the passion of yours, you will have self-doubt limiting yourself. Like, do I really have anything to share with the world?
True.
Right? Some people are extremely passionate about self-help, or probably about depression.
That's interesting.
Who am I to share?
Yeah.
Am I a therapist? No. Then they just silence themselves.
Right.
Wow,
when you talk, that gave me goosebumps actually. Seriously, because it gives me a distinction also. That really gave me a distinction, because I realized that if the person's self-esteem is not there, they do not have self-identity, right? No matter how much you preach to them about passion and purpose, they will not go and discover it. They feel that they're not worthy enough.
Hell yes.
So when you help to realize the value in the person, right? That just click.
Exactly. So when you see, like one of another client that I serve, the thing is that his self-identity is wrong.
Yeah.
He said that he just labeled himself as, I'm someone that's abandoned. Because since young, he didn't have love from his father, mother, too busy to give him love.
Yep.
And when I can reshift his identity to a place where I'm a loving individual. Right now, he don't need to receive love in order to give love.
Yep.
He's giving love so abundantly. So when you have that new identity, that's when now his purpose, right, is to add value and add love to as many people as possible. And that's a better place compared to before.
Nice. Reminds me of the be do have.
Exactly.
As well.
You're right.
You become, you kind of embody that, and then you take the actions that person will actually take. It's quite powerful. And I also say that is where coaching comes in. Because I know this is not a sponsored podcast. I keep having to clarify it, right? But because I see value in your work, I want to give you a platform to just share with people. And,
Sure.
And why is coaching kind of important in that journey? Because I know people can find their power themselves, right?
Yep.
But for me, I would say that I discovered it also through mentorship and coaching.
Yep.
For you as well. And talk a bit about that.
Yeah, sure. I think all this while I was navigating alone.
Yeah.
For the past, if you hear my story earlier, 19 years old, I was kind of awakened by my dad. I'm 25 this year. So that's about 5-6 years of navigating on my own. I can tell you the truth is, I didn't receive any results. There's no results. But this year was a year of breakthrough for me.
Right.
Because, like I said, I paid $30,000. I better buck the up, right? And the key here is skin in the game. And the second thing is blind spots.
Okay.
We don't know what we don't know. Probably now the audience listening to what I just said, right, might know something that I don't know what I just said earlier.
Yeah.
And that is very important.
Yeah.
So how fast you can uncover your own blind spots, and that's how you can cover yourself up.
Yeah.
Move to the next level. But at the same time, be mindful that,
Yeah.
do you really want this?
Sure.
Some people just don't want. Some people just want to be okay, average.
Yeah.
And that's what I noticed about myself. I don't want to be.
You want So it starts from self-awareness also, that to know
Yup.
that you want something more, right?
Yep.
But I would argue that people intrinsically want something more. We are beings of growth, lah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just that sometimes we don't admit it to ourselves.
Yes.
We prefer to just say that actually I don't want. But I feel a lot of people actually want something more. Just that they have that fear,
Yep.
that self-identity, that power doesn't match up. It's being suppressed
Yes,
by
you're
a
right.
lot of layers of insecurity and crap. I resonate with you on that, because even for me running traditional business, right, I have a couple of mentors and just 30 minutes with them. I think Rushdie, you know him, right?
Yeah.
That day he gave a speech in expertise as well. Wow, I tell you, just 30-minute session with him, right? So many blind spots he covered, like. Just 30 minutes, right? If I had paid few K for that,
Yeah.
just 30 minutes, it still would have been worth it.
Right.
Because his advice helped me to close deals more than that.
Hell yes. Yep.
So I think people don't see that because we are conditioned in a paradigm that, wow, you just see that, wow, this amount is a scam.
Correct.
Right? They look at
Yeah.
the page and say, whoa, this is a scam. But I hope the audience can look beyond that. I mean, first of all, right, I can understand where people are coming from, because there are scams out there. There are people that may not be fully vested in your potential and they just want to make the money.
Yes.
But I can say from my heart, right, that Darryl is just the complete opposite.
Yeah. Like I really want to honor the word abundant. Hence
Yeah.
my offers that I always
Yeah.
offer my clients is usually insane. Like you pay $1. Only if you like it, you pay the balance. If you don't like it, there's no transformation. It's free for you. So that's what I always do. Right.
I want to close this segment, right, with sharing a story. I think
Sure.
you might be familiar with this. It's by Napoleon Hill.
Yep.
Think and Grow Rich. So some context, Think and Grow Rich is probably the most best-selling personal development or kind of growth book. A lot of billionaires, millionaires actually quote it. So Napoleon Hill actually shared a story about how he started this book. You know, back when in the 1908, I think he met Andrew Carnegie. He was the richest man at that time. Right? I think he was runs a steel company, he's the richest man in the world.
Yep.
So Napoleon Hill was discovering himself as a writer. So he went in, he met him, and Andrew Carnegie said that I give you a project. I give you access to 500 people who are wealthy, successful, millionaires, people in all fields, right? You go and interview them, study them, and you create a book of the principles they use. That's how Think and Grow Rich was formed, and he spent the next decades of his life just studying and writing books on this.
Yeah.
And in that book, Think and Grow Rich, he interviewed many people like Henry Ford, Charles Schwab, Andrew Carnegie, right? And the first preface of the book, he talks about this, right? That in the book, okay, at every single chapter, there will be a secret. But I cannot reveal to you the secret. Only you know the secret.
Yeah.
It's revealed several times in each chapter, but when you read it, you know, when you keep reflecting on it, eventually the secret is going to come to you. You know, I'm also getting goosebumps talking about this, right? Because you and I know, like once you discover that secret in yourself, right, you are breakthrough.
Yeah.
And that's how I link it to power also. That secret to me is that power. To understand your self-identity, right, and what is your X factor.
Yep.
And I think he purposely left it as a very thing, because for different people it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what I think about that. I feel that is relates.
I think that is very true. But personally, I never really read that book to that depth. But I just want to expand that question a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. So when you mentioned that everybody has the X factor, the element, knowing themselves and all these things, I really truly believe in. I was living my life for the past 19 years, right, not knowing anything about myself.
Right.
Hence, when my dad even asked a simple question like, "What the hell are you good at?"
Yeah.
I couldn't answer.
Yep.
And I think a lot of audience might be facing this right now. What actually am I passionate in? I don't know. What am I good at? I don't know. Wicked? I don't know. Maybe Wicked, they know a lot, right? So like what you just said, when you read books, it's not really reading so much about the information, but asking yourself, what does it say about me? What does it mean to me? I think if you have this kind of question at the back of your head when you read books, you will understand and learn way faster. And that was something I learned from my mentors.
Okay. Wow. I think that will probably conclude our segment on personal power. And I think also what's most very I keep using the word striking a lot. I tend to try and expand my vocab, but it is striking now. That you didn't start out this way. You start a naughty boy vandalizing cars, having no meaning, just like anybody else. Not particularly smart, not particularly talented.
Not at all.
Yeah. And your child was just discovering stuff, right? But now you are, wow. So I think people listening to this, don't put Darryl on a pedestal. Don't say that, wow, he's like that. He speaks so much conviction. Even some people put me on a pedestal as well. I started out burning my A-level cert, dancing my mother's nightgown. Mania completely lost it. And then now I am where I am today, but it's really a whole journey.
It's a journey, right? So I think I just want to add on Date with Destiny, right, by Tony Robbins. This program, which I just attended last month or this month, in fact, blew my mind because when they said that change your story, change your meaning to your story, you change your life. So for you might look at that burning A-level as a maniac act. What if that's the start of a beautiful life, a beautiful journey? And a lot of the audience here will say that life is a beach, life is a struggle. What if we change it to life is a beautiful adventure? So that is something that I hold close to my heart because growing businesses especially is filled with uncertainty. We are fearful. But what if we reframe our head and say that business is a beautiful adventure? This month I can't pay bills, but that's okay. It's still a nice story. Yeah, so that's what I want to add.
That's a growth mindset, which we are also talking about in our next segment with Ita. Life Hacks with Ita. I'm going to talk about growth mindset.
Love it.
So stay tuned, y'all, for the midweek episode on growth mindset. But closing out today's podcast, surprise segment for you, Darryl.
Okay.
10 questions on your abundance, purpose, and power.
Okay, let's go.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Share with us your morning affirmation.
Okay, so I can say it really quickly. Always be kind, always give value. Happiness is a choice. I always be courageous, I always have faith. I'm made for greatness. I'm Darryl.
In your lowest point, what helped you out of it?
Doing video with myself. In my phone, you can see a lot of videos, vlogs. Nobody had access to it, only myself. I literally cry in the videos and I just express my emotions.
Okay. What is the phrase you say most often in your videos?
Hey guys.
Okay, yes, that is one.
Yeah. I always say, hey guys. What's the phrase? One, maybe you notice something.
I notice it. Is it?
Yeah.
Job well done. Pat yourself on that.
Yeah. Probably I do that often. I always do this.
Yeah.
My love language is physical touch. So, I lack of self-love. So I do that to myself. Job well done. Pat myself on the back.
Good stuff. Yeah, you say a lot in your video. This is a fun question.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. What is one thing your mentor said or did for you that deeply impacted you?
Shift in my identity. That's how I noticed and understood the concept. Before that, I was just a workshop guy selling $20 per pax workshop. I really wouldn't get to where I am today as a coach without them. So there's a very big difference. A coach journey with my clients for years to come. A workshop guy is only there for 3 days.
Right. When's the last time you cried?
Last month. Right, I cried because of fear that I cannot pay bills, fear that I'm not good enough for my clients. So that's very honest.
Okay. How can we become more abundant?
By setting yourself on a 30 days abundant challenge with no strings attached, nothing to ask from the other party. Ask, how can I help you?
What is one breakthrough you made last year?
Right, running 17.5 km. So that was a big one for me because I always labeled myself as the guy who can run fast but not far. But this year, I really want to, So my intention was to really reframe my identity, right? As long as I set my mind to doing something, I'll achieve it.
What is one breakthrough you helped someone make last year?
My most significant breakthrough was one of my clients. He made 5 figures, but he was not happy at all. His darkest, deepest desire was freedom. After building and having these systems, after having this money, he don't feel free at all. But after a tiny tweak in terms of working his inner work, He's now enjoying his life really much. Taking trips to nearby hikes and all these things. He's living 100 times happier.
Nice. What is the most satisfying or fulfilling thing about coaching?
Knowing that my life actually get to impact one more soul, I think that is beautiful. Just this morning, I look at my old handwritten notes from my clients. It really warms my heart that a young boy like me, 25 years old of age, able to impact 63 lives today. And I'm definitely on my way to impact 1,000.
This is the last question. What is the final message to the audience to help them ignite their personal power besides going for your coaching?
Sure. I think I just want to end off with this quote. You are more, be more.
Thank you, Darryl.
All right. From the bottom of my heart, thank you
This
so
has
much. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Amazing 45 minutes with you, right? Just listening to your vulnerability and sharing. And I just wish you all the very best from the bottom of my heart. I wish you all the success and abundance in the world because I know that you will use that to serve other people. So
Thank you so much, brother. I mean, likewise for yourself. We'll grow together. We're born with resilience, right?
okay, so with that, we have come to the end of today's episode. Please go follow Darryl. Where can they find you?
D.N.Y.K on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll link them up. And definitely, if you are looking, if you are, I would want to give you a bit of time to put a plug in. Share about your coaching. Like who would be a good person to approach you?
Yeah, sure. So, millennial sales professionals and entrepreneurs who are really achieving right now, but you want to move to the next level, I really want to work with you. So, there's certain, like imagine you're a 5-figure entrepreneur and you're moving to 6. There's certain fears. There's certain doubts about yourself. So, journey with me. I'll make sure that happens. So, your goal is not a maybe, it's a guaranteed.
Yeah, just drop Darryl a DM. He's free for a free consultation even before you get started. Again, this is not a sponsored podcast, just a really good friend of mine that has helped me. And I believe that you will get value from actually interacting with him. Okay? With that, stay tuned in the next episode. I think today we talked about purpose, passion, and power. Next episode, we're going to invite a mutual friend of ours, Jing An. Okay? He is going to talk about goal setting and creating habits to get there. And Jing An, right? He's someone that's super disciplined in his habits. So it's definitely stay tuned to the next podcast. In the meantime, stay resilient. Happy New Year. And just get out there, ignite your personal power, and thrive. See you.